Here, I want to, because this is a very interesting story, if I say so myself. How many of you guys have kept up? Have you guys seen what's been going on in regards to Andy Gano? No. Okay. So, you guys don't know Andy Ngo is? Andy Ngo is a self-described, imagine Tim Pool if he continued doing like the underground journalism against like left-wing groups. So Andy Ngo got like his big start, I think back in during the Trump administration, where he tried to get like BLM and Antifa protesters and like just average civil rights protesters arrested by trying to film their face and posting personal information about them on his Twitter account. And someone, threw a milkshake at him. Wait, here, let me see. This is him after trying to get some people arrested and filming their faces and trying to put them online so the police could find them. They sprayed him with silly string and they threw a milkshake at him. And then he said that and then he cried about it like they tried to kill him. And people were like, what the fuck, you dumb bitch? It was just a milkshake, dog. What are you, lactose intolerant? Were you scared of milk? Boo, you bitch. And he's like, well, actually, the milkshake had quick drying cement in it, and that's why it could have killed me. And he released a book the other year where he tried to say that Antifa was trying to destroy democracy because they were mean to him. And I think he also said that feminism was the reason why he couldn't hold his bowl of fruit. Wait. Yeah, I knew I remember this. This is like to tell you how absolutely pathetic Andy Ngo is. Here's a tweet that he made back in 2019. I was holding a container of fruit with both hands. Then suddenly I dropped it. It landed on the floor. It landed all over my feet and floor. I looked down and couldn't help but think this had to do with the brain injury. Maybe I'm wrong. The attackers robbed me of my confidence in holding my own food. So yes, just so you know, he said that he got a brain injury because someone threw a milkshake at him. That picture that you saw, where his face was like covered in milk. He said that gave him a brain injury. That like the milkshake rattled his freaking skull, and like his brain bounced around the inside of his cranium like a little beads inside of a maraca. And destroyed him, so much so that he dropped his fruit. And this has to have something to do with Antifa. So just so you know, just a little wrap up on who Andy Ngo is. I think that basically sums up his character. Also, he thinks that every time a hate crime happens, that it's a false flag by BLM trying to make white people look bad. Moving on to the present. Recently, there's been some buzz. Andy Ngo's been back in the news again because he made, himself a little bit of prominence last year by covering BLM protests and trying to get the people like arrested and stuff. That's basically what he's been doing. That's how he's been spending his spare time in Portland, Oregon. So obviously within like the BLM and Antifa like groups there and just general protesters, they know of him and they don't like him. So allegedly, Andy Ngo was once again trying to go freaking undercover in the protests, in the BLM protests, and he may have been found out. Portland protesters chase, tackle, and punch someone they believe to be Andy Ngo until he hides in the Nines hotel. People in a May 28th protest crowd in front of the, wait, how do I pronounce this again? Wait. Multnomah County Justice Center chased, tackled, and punched someone they believe to be right-wing author Andy Ngo, pursued him through the streets of Portland until he hid inside the Nines Hotel. The enraged group pulled on the hotel's doors and shouted, "You want to kill us? You want to kill us, Andy?" And the Nines staff were there frantically trying to hold the doors closed. And Andy allegedly hid. Also, there was someone in a wheelchair that Andy Ngo was running from. He's running from someone in a fucking wheelchair. Very interesting indeed. So yeah, they were upset. They said they were sheltering a Nazi. But let's talk about what was happening there. Okay, how did this even happen? Friday's march concluded around 11:30 p.m. without much fanfare. Word began to spread that No was in the crowd, disguised and wearing a BLM flag around his neck and around his shoulders as a cape. A group of 5 to 10 people in identity obscuring clothing called a black bloc followed the person they suspected to be No for blocks, inquiring who he was. The person they pursued said his name was Jake. In front of the AC Marriott, the group tried to unmask the unknown man. He ran for blocks, and someone in the pursuing group tackled him at Southwest 4th Avenue and Morrison Street, punched him several times after his head hit the brick sidewalk. Man, they fucked this dude up, okay? And here's the thing, okay? And there were even some people. It was a lot, all right? Not Jake, yeah, anything but Jake. It was a lot. Okay, people were like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" And the skateboard dude was there from State Farm. Yeah, he was Jake from State Farm. They're the protesters of BLM. Skateboard guy was there. A nearby man holding a skateboard admonished the group, saying that their quarry looked like they had enough. However, when someone nearby shouted that the person they were assaulting was Andy No, the skateboard carrying man changed his attitude, swearing and joining in the group. So Andy's record precedes him. His legacy precedes him in Portland. Nobody in Portland fucking likes Andy No. So much so that even this guy who was like, "All right, come on, guys, that's enough," he was like, "Wait, that's No?" Started trying to beat his ass too. I think Antifa are pretending to be neo-Nazis. Andy No wearing a BLM flag. Yeah, very, very interesting character you got there. Imagine having such a reputation. A dude sees you getting beaten up, and joins what's he did. Like, like a random dude on the street. Like, "Hey, come on, guys, that's a little much. I think he's done." Like, "Hey, yo, that's fucking Andy No." He's like, "Really? Real shit." Just freaking flies in with the people's elbow. Like, holy crap! I can't imagine. I can't imagine getting bodied that hard, dude. I can't even tell you. All right. When fleeing, the man took shelter in the Nines, and he appeared to be pleading with the staff. "They're going to kill me," he said. At midnight, Portland police arrived at the Nines with bicycles. Oh, dude, the bicycle police came. And with a riot van, and made one arrest, and then they all left, and they told them all to go. Now, like I said, I don't like political violence, and I don't like beating people up. I do not endorse any of the violence that happened on the streets in Portland that night. I'll tell you that much. What I will endorse is chasing Andy No away from these protests. Andy No is a horrible human being. Andy No is a bad person who does not care for the lives of people, for which he says that he's trying to document. Because Portland protesters, even ones who weren't even specifically harmed, just people who were, because in Portland, remember when Donald Trump called in the National Guard and like random support groups from like the Coast Guard, the Border Patrol, other Department of Defense people who are not trained to do riot control, went there to do riot control and started randomly black hooding people, bagging them and throwing them into trucks and arresting them and holding them without due process. Andy No was like, "Ooh, baby, that sounds tasty." And what he did is he took those people. For one, none of them have been convicted or even suspected of committing any crimes. He took them, found them, and then posted their face and also their personal information on his Twitter account to try to get their lives ruined. And it worked with some people. He tried to get many people's lives ruined. He posted their name, he posted their age, and also their personal info. Posted as much personal information as he could about them. And he said it was his duty to report on the protesters that had been arrested, his duty to report on them and ruin their lives, for even ones who've done literally nothing. People were scared for their lives. People had to change their, people had to completely leave the internet once they were released by the police. Once again, they didn't do anything. They were released by the police. Some even had to move in Portland. So Andy No is a complete threat in Portland to people who protest there, for people who care about civil rights. He will try to get you killed. He will try to get you your life ruined if you do nothing besides have the audacity to protest for a better world for immigrants, for black people, black and brown people in this country. He'll try to destroy your life for it. That's why they don't like him. And once again, I disavow any political violence. I don't support any political violence. I do support saying fuck you to Andy No. And if it was actually him who got his shit rocked, I'm not gonna say I feel bad. I'll tell you that much.